Hello, everyone. So today's case is going to be about Daphne Viola Webb. This is another child case, so like I always say, if cases involving children is something that triggers you or something you're not sure if you can handle, I would advise skipping this one. It's definitely a heartbreaking case, so just take care of yourself and I'll see you in another video. I will say this video today and the next one involve children. Although next one, the child isn't so young, and it's definitely a wild case. But it's triggering for another reason entirely. So just a heads up that this video and the next video that is going to be going up on Christmas Eve is going to be about children. So there's your heads up. But like I said, we're going to be talking about Daphne Viola Webb. I have all the links that I use for research down below. And let's go ahead and jump into this. I will say real quickly that all the photos I found of her, they weren't the best quality, so I do apologize. But they were all I was able to find. And I wasn't exactly able to find a photo of her father. I think there was one of her father. I'm not entirely sure. I was not able to confirm it was him or not. So let's just go ahead and get into this. So the case began in 2013 when police received a call from a distraught father by the name of John Anthony Webb, who goes by Anthony. He claimed his 1-year-old daughter, Daphne, had been abducted while she was out with her dad and grandmother, who he said had dementia, while at Ghazali's supermarket on July 10th. So Daphne was with him and her grandmother, who supposedly has dementia, or does have dementia. I'm not quite sure. He said he stopped at the store to get a drink and left Daphne with her grandma in the car, and he said that she was gone when he came back. If you don't know what dementia is, it's a terrible disease. Basically, it's kind of like it's taking who you know out of the person that you know, is the best way I can say it. I'm not well versed on the intricacies of it. I don't personally know anybody who has dementia. I think it's kind of similar to Alzheimer's, where in a way, over time, you kind of start not really knowing certain things, or being able to know who certain people are, maybe even yourself. So you kind of like lose a little bit of the stuff you know, for lack of a better information. Basically, you're not in the best sound of mind. I do want to say that it's not certain, like, how badly her dementia was. Like, if it was something that was just starting, or if something she was really down bad with. It did not say. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because this is your 1-year-old child, and while, yes, your grandmother would do nothing to hurt her or anything like that, it's kind of convenient you would leave your 1-year-old child, a baby, with your mother or her grandmother. I'm not sure if it's his mom or not. I would assume so because she's with them. But it's kind of convenient you would leave your 1-year-old baby with this person who has dementia, whether it's still early or a little bit later in the disease. I personally would not leave my baby with someone alone who has dementia, because it wouldn't be smart. And I just think it's kind of weird that you would do that. That's a weird choice to make. So it kind of threw me off when I saw that. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Maybe somebody can rationalize it down below. Personally, I cannot. It does not make sense to me. It is not a choice that I would make, but I did want to put that out there for that reason. So, supposedly, Daphne had been sitting in the rear passenger seat prior to the alleged abduction, and when police spoke with witnesses, they came up with a potential suspect. Those reports say a woman who was either Black, Hispanic, or Latina was seen leaving the area with a child that fit Daphne's description, but no one actually saw the abduction. So they saw the woman with this child that kind of looked like Daphne, but they don't know if it actually was Daphne because nobody actually saw her taking Daphne. It's unclear if that woman was ever found and questioned. This woman was also described as being in her 30s with long, straight black hair and wore a light colored shirt and blue jeans. I could not find a photo, whether it was on CCTV or not. Couldn't find anything of it. No sketch artist stuff of it or not, or nothing like that. So I don't have anything for you other than that description. There was a search of the area, and that brought up no evidence of Daphne. So from the start, investigators did question Anthony's story. The day after she disappeared, and some reports do say later in the day, he reported he was arrested on suspicion of felony child endangerment, but prosecutors declined to file charges and he was released from jail. He declined to comment on her case in the months following her disappearance, which is weird because you have a child that goes missing in your care. As a parent, you'd think this person would be worried about their child. They would be making pleas to the public saying, whoever has her, please just bring her back. We just want her to come home. You would be pleading with this person. You would be talking about her. You'd be raising awareness. He just didn't bother to make any comments. And that is another thing that struck me as being extremely weird. About a month after she went missing, other relatives publicly questioned his story, his own father saying that Anthony's claims, were fishy. So even his own family are just like, it's a little strange, bud, your story here. You leave your 1-year-old child with this relative who has dementia, and the child is suddenly gone. It's a little weird. Now, I do want to say that I don't know the entire story of what he told his family. I was not able to find that. So I don't know what all details he gave them, and maybe it just didn't match up to what they already knew. I am not sure. But just from what we know alone, it is definitely fishy. It doesn't make sense. At the very least, he is an incredibly negligent parent. So, Anthony had custody of Daphne because at the time her mother, Kiana, was living in a rehab home in Oakland. She was questioned and eventually ruled out as a suspect or a person of interest. In May 2014, Anthony actually committed suicide by overdosing on prescription medicine. He was found by his adult daughter and didn't leave a suicide note. And this is actually a quote from Daphne's great aunt, Rosalind Robinson. And Rosalind says, "He was the last person who was with her, so obviously he would know of her whereabouts. At this point, we have no closure on him. We have closure on him, but not on her." End quote. So yeah, they obviously know what happened to Anthony, but they will never. Well, no, we shouldn't say that. They still don't know what happened to Daphne, and they might not ever, because perhaps the person who knew exactly what happened to her last moments, are no longer with us. They cannot say anything, and to me, that is also very weird. Now, you could say, like, he's really struggling with what happened to her. Maybe he really blames himself. He did make a very bad decision. Like I said, he, the very least, was very negligent in the situation. Maybe he really blames himself. Like, this happened because I made a slip decision. I left her with somebody I shouldn't have, and now I'm paying the price for it. I can't handle it, and he decided to take his own life. Or it could be guilt because maybe he knows something, he did something, which to me is kind of how I am feeling personally, just because of everything else in this case. But it could be for something completely different. We don't know. Unfortunately, police do believe that Daphne is dead, and they've kind of come up with a decision regarding what happened to her. The status of the investigation is unclear. I do want to say that. So this is actually a quote from the Alameda County District Attorney, Nancy O'Malley, and she says, "We believe there are events that will help us come to some conclusion. I don't believe Webb's death put an end to the case. I believe his death is a factor, but the investigation didn't stop with his death." End quote. So they're kind of thinking, him dying is because of what happened to her. but his death is not going to hinder the investigation. As of right now, that's all we really know. Like I said, the status of the investigation isn't clear. We don't know anything else that they have. If you, by any chance, have any information, you were there at this place that day, I think it's Ghazali Supermarket, or anything like that, you are urged to contact the Oakland Police Department at 510-777-3333. The case number is 13-035011. Again, the Oakland Police Department phone number is 510-777-3333, and the case number is 13-035011. At the time of her disappearance, Daphne was 2 foot tall. She had about 30 pounds on her. She had brown hair and brown eyes, and she was last seen wearing orange PJs and pink socks. She would be about 11 years old today. Yeah, she would be about 11 years old today. So, yeah, that's what I have for you guys on the case of Daphne Viola Webb. What do we think happened? Personally, I think, I've said it already, I definitely think that her father played a major role in this. Making the decision to leave her with the grandmother, who has dementia. Strike number 1. Not really making any comment about her death. Or, I shouldn't say her death. It's supposed that she's dead. Or her disappearance. Strike number 2. His own family members saying that what he's saying is fishy. Strike number 3. And his suicide. Strike number 4. And now, of course, like I said, his death could be completely unrelated. He could just be feeling guilty because, he played a role by leaving her with this person, and not necessarily because he did something. But to me, it says guilt as in he did something. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Yeah, sure, there could have been a woman there that day that did abduct her. It could have been this woman. But I feel like somebody would have seen this abduction happen, and not just a child with a woman that kind of looks like Daphne, But we never know. Maybe it was not the father at all. But to me personally, that's what I think, or who I think did it. Why? I couldn't tell you. In all of the digging I did, I couldn't find anything about why he would have done this to her. I don't know if maybe it's because, her mother is not here at the time. She's in rehab. Maybe taking care of this child was a lot for him. It's the only thing I could maybe think of. I couldn't find anything that suggests why he would do this. Just a lot of weird stuff surrounding him. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Please be respectful. You never know who will come across this video. And if any family or loved ones come across this video, I just want to say that I think it's heartbreaking about what happened. I do, for your own sake, hope that Daphne Viola is still alive and we can bring her home. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to Daphne's story, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.